Hi guys, it's Daniel here again. In this video, I'm going to talk about all of the supplements I'm taking every single day to help me achieve my goal of increasing my intelligence to the maximum human limit and to just maintain peak mental performance on a day-to-day basis. So I'm just going to go through all of the supplements I take one by one. Now, these are in addition to my diet, which has been optimized for overall health and for mental performance already. So I try and get pretty much all of the vitamins and micronutrients I need for peak mental performance from my diet. But there are some supplements I need to take in addition to my diet because it's too hard to get everything I need in my diet. Like I'd just be consuming too much food if I tried to get it all from my diet. So yeah, I'll just go through these one by one, everything I take in a single day. So I start with, in the morning, vitamin D. So I take 2,000 international units of vitamin D each day. So the reason why I take that is simply because I don't get that much sunlight. So I work from home mostly. So yeah, I just don't get that much sunlight, so I don't get to make that much vitamin D. So if you also work from home or have an office job, you should be taking vitamin D. It's highly important because you can only get it really from the sun. So if you don't have an outdoors job, you will almost definitely be deficient in vitamin D. So I definitely recommend adding that to your stack. So yeah, I take 2,000 international units every day in the morning. And the reason why I take it in the morning is because I think it helps you to wake up and it helps to set your circadian rhythm as well, because it's natural to get sunlight in the morning. So I think it's also natural to get vitamin D in the morning because vitamin D is made from sunlight normally. So that's the first thing I take. The second thing I take, which is a recent addition to my stack, is creatine. So I've recently added this back into my routine. I did try it previously a couple of years ago and I did see negative effects from it. But I think the reason why I saw negative effects the previous time I tried it was because I was having too much, and because in my diet I was already getting a sufficient amount at that time. So I think the previous time that I tried creatine, I was getting around about 5 grams per day from my natural diet. And I think when I tried the supplement, on top of that, I was taking an additional 5 grams per day. So I was getting in total 10 grams per day, which I think was just too much. Now, on its own, that shouldn't really affect your mental performance, but I think it might have affected my sleep and my hydration levels, which might have affected my mental performance based on that. So yeah, anyway, I've added it back into my routine now. So the reason why I've added it back is because my new diet, which is optimized for both overall health and mental performance, my new diet has an average of 3 grams of creatine per day. It ranges between like 2.5 to 4 grams per day, depending on the exact breakdown of what I'm eating per day. I do have a little bit of variation in my diet. But yeah, the average is 3 grams per day that I get from my diet. Plus your body can make around about 1 gram per day, I think. So I should be getting around about 4 grams per day naturally, which should be enough. But because I'm doing high intensity brain training and high intensity cardio to try and improve my mental performance and trying to basically get to the maximum human limit in terms of intelligence, because I'm doing that, I think I do need more creatine. So I'm taking 2.5 grams per day at the moment, and I have this in the morning at the same time as the vitamin D. So yeah, 2.5 grams on top of my dietary, around about 3 grams per day. That should be plenty without pushing me into the too much kind of area. So I always try and aim for the minimum amount of these supplements that I can take to get the maximum benefit. Because what I've found in testing heaps of supplements in the past is heaps of supplements that are meant to improve your mental performance, they can actually just do the opposite. So what I found is multiple of them can just hurt your mental performance. So when I take these supplements to improve my mental performance, I make sure I just start with a really small amount to get the maximum benefit for the minimum risk. So that's the second thing I'm taking. So the next two is I take them with my breakfast or just after breakfast. So the first one is just a simple B complex. So just vitamin B complex. And the reason why I take that is just a little bit of a top up on top of my diet. So I should be getting plenty of all the B vitamins from my diet. So I have broken down my diet to figure out how much of each vitamin and micronutrient I'm getting on a day-to-day basis. And I should be getting plenty of vitamin B, but it's possible that on some days I might only be getting 80 or 90 or even just 95% of what I should be getting for some of the B vitamins. So just to make sure that every single day I am getting over 100% of what I need each day for each of these B vitamins, I just make sure I take a very small B complex. And again, it's on purpose a very small one, so some of the B complexes have just too much B vitamins in them, I think. So some of the ones you can find at just any pharmacy have like 5 or 10 times the amount that I'm taking in this one. So this one is very small quantities, so I can read them out here. So B1 is 15 micrograms, B2 is 15 micrograms, B3 is 30 micrograms, B5 is 8 micrograms, and yeah, the rest are pretty small as well, pretty similar. So that's very small for a B vitamin supplement. Most of them are 5 or 10 times that size. So yeah, if you want to add vitamin B to your diet in a supplement form, just make sure you don't get like the really big ones. Just get a really small vitamin B as well. And the next one I take at the same time with my breakfast is just a very small vitamin E supplement as well. So in my diet, I don't get many seeds or nuts or anything in my diet. I have tried to add them into my diet previously to get vitamin E, but it just ends up too much food that I'm consuming on a day-to-day basis. So I can't really add everything into my diet. So for that reason, I just take a very small vitamin E supplement. So the one I'm taking is 100 international units. And at the moment, I'm taking it every day, but I will drop it down to 2 or 3 times per week. Again, just to make sure I'm not taking too much of it. And there were actually some studies that if you take too much vitamin E in supplement form, you can actually hurt your heart health. But those studies I think were done on 400 international units per day. So at the moment I'm taking 100 international units per day. I'm actually going to drop that down to just 2 or 3 times per week as well, just to be really safe. And that should be plenty in terms of what my body actually needs. So again, with vitamin E, you need to be sure that you're getting just a really small tablet, because most of the vitamin E's, they come in the 400 international unit or 500 international unit form, which is just simply too much to take per day. So yeah, you really have to search around to find the really small one. This is just the small one that I found, so that's just what I'm using right now. Okay, so that gets me past breakfast. Then the next thing I do, so the next thing in my routine is cardio and brain training, which is after breakfast, usually a couple of hours after breakfast. I have my caffeine, so I have green tea. So one of the things I take for peak mental performance is L-theanine, but I don't take it in the form of a supplement, I just get it from green tea. So to get the daily requirement of L-theanine, I have 4 green teas per day. So the first 2 I have early afternoon are just normal green teas, and the second 2 I have are decaffeinated green teas later in the afternoon, just to make sure I'm not getting too much caffeine, just so it doesn't impact my sleep. So yeah, 4 green teas per day, 2 with caffeine, 2 without caffeine, and that's to get the L-theanine. In addition to that, I do take a very small choline supplement, alpha GPC. I didn't bring it with me here, so I can't show you the packet. But yeah, each day I take 500 micrograms of alpha GPC, and I take that around about an hour before I do my training. So that's an hour before I do cardio and brain training. I try and do cardio and brain training together because I think there's a bit of synergistic benefit when you do them together. I think the cardio helps the brain training. So yeah, I take the alpha GPC. Then I also take this coffee fruit extract. So the reason why I take this is because it boosts your brain BDNF levels, which is basically a fertilizer for your brain. So it basically just primes your brain for adaptation, for new learning and new neural growth, basically. So I take this before the brain training as well, just to really prime my brain for adaptation when I'm doing the brain training. I have experimented with taking that after the brain training as well, and I'm not really sure when the best time to take it is, but I think in theory it should be before the training, so that's just why I'm taking it before the training at the moment. And okay, that gets me to after my training time. And then the next thing I take, which I actually just forgot the timing, but I actually take this before and after my training, is Magnesium L-threonate is the name of it. Magnesium L-threonate. So I actually take two different types of magnesium. So this is just one type that I take. And I take this a little bit before my training and a little bit after my training. So the reason for that is really just to make sure I'm not depleting my magnesium stores during the training, because I do high intensity cardio and high intensity brain training. So I take around about 150 micrograms of elemental magnesium from their L-threonate form, and I take half of that before the training and half of it after the training. And also I take magnesium glycinate. So glycinate I take a bit later in the day, usually after dinner, and again I take another 150 micrograms of elemental magnesium from the glycinate form. So when I say 150 micrograms, I mean of the elemental quantity, not the actual weight of the tablet, because usually these tablets have a higher weight, but the actual amount of elemental magnesium in them is very small. So yeah, I take 150 micrograms of the L-threonate form and 150 micrograms of the glycinate form. So this is a fairly recent addition to my stack, and I might adjust the quantities a little bit here, but at the moment I'm taking 300 micrograms in total from both these forms of magnesium. And that's to help my mental performance, to really keep me at my peak, and it's also to improve my sleep, which also helps to keep me at my peak mentally. So yeah, these are pretty much all the supplements I take on a day-to-day basis. Everything else I get from my diet. So there are some other key things, like omega-3 fatty acids, for example. So I get that from my diet. So I eat 90 grams of mackerel each day, which has about 2,000 micrograms of omega-3s in it. And on top of that, I take about 2,000 additional fish oil, omega-3s from fish oil at the same time as eating the mackerel. I don't really need to do that, the additional fish oil tablets on top of the mackerel that I'm already eating, because the mackerel already has 2,000 micrograms of omega-3s in it. But just to make sure, in case there's any variation in each tin, some might have more, some might have less, just to make sure I'm really getting enough each day, I take the additional 2,000 micrograms of omega-3s at the same time as eating the mackerel. The mackerel also gives me phosphatidylserine as well, so it gives me plenty of that. The only other way to get that in your diet is basically by eating organ meats, which I don't really want to add to my diet. So yeah, to get my phosphatidylserine, I just get that from the mackerel at the same time as the omega-3s. And the other main thing in my diet for peak mental performance is choline. So I did mention previously how I have 500 micrograms of choline about an hour before I do my cardio and my brain training. But I also have a lot of choline in my diet as well. So I have 4 eggs per day with dinner every single night. So that's like non-negotiable, a part of my diet every single day, to really make sure I'm getting a lot of choline into my diet, because it's highly important for your mental performance. And yeah, guys, that's about it. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and like the video, and yeah, I'll keep you guys updated with more content, other things I'm learning, other things I'm doing to maintain my mental performance and to increase my intelligence to the peak human limit. Cheers, guys.